This is a Headgum podcast.
Hello and welcome to Perfect Person, the show where I'm perfect and you're, of course, a person.
Perfectly person.
Recently, I've been surrendering my destiny to strangers. I've been asking them what their favorite thing is to have, and that's the thing that I get to sip. Any restaurant and or smoothie, I say, what's yours? And they say, I like this, and that's what I have. And I've had some real duds recently, but it feels good to kind of throw myself to the wolf.
Am I awake? I do feel like
Kick on the lights.
The light turning off was timed with everything.
I really wish it was.
It was like
it's on the soundboard.
like a
turn the whole
storm,
thing
like
off.
a storm. The lights flicker. You hear thunder and lightning in the background.
This is an escape room.
As
Yeah,
you,
it was
you
like
reveal your extended
iron-
fangs.
Iron bars come down the doors.
I'm here with Jarvis Johnson and Jordan Adika.
Hi.
Hey,
Welcome to the show.
Thank
How
you.
are you
thanks
this
for
morning?
thanks for having us. We're wonderful.
We're good. We just did the cold open Patreon portion. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we
All
just
right.
did. We
Did I? And then what just happened just now?
Sorry,
your
what's
eyes,
that?
your eyes rolled to the back of your head.
I was sort of saying something that was perfect to have that I did.
Okay.
So
And
in a lot of every episode sort of begins with I say a perfect thing I did. The other week it was that I have wide feet.
Perfect.
And
you have
Jordan
what
has
feet?
flat feet.
I have
You have
flat
flat
feet and
feet?
very thin feet. They're weird.
are you wearing? Do you have the supports in the middle?
I should. I don't today.
You don't wear.
I one of my favorite
inserts.
shoes.
Wow.
But I feel like
didn't-
you do normally though.
Yeah.
Usually you're good about it.
You got to put inserts in those puppies.
I'm the insertion bastard. I'll
Let's
say
see
it.
those dogs. What
Get
can I
away from
say?
me, man. What if I'm wearing like faux socks and it's just a band that ends at my ankle so I can have nice bare feet
Like
inside my
Oh,
shoes?
that's
Long
nice.
anklets, ankle warmers.
Yeah, like one
Yeah.
of those like t-shirts you'd get in Hot Topic that have the long sleeves attached to the
Like fingerless
Or about-
gloves, but toeless socks.
that I can balance.
But yeah, no, recently I've been asking the smoothie person, I've been asking the person just like, hey, what's your favorite? And then they're just like, this one. I don't even look at the menu. I don't even see what's in that.
Yeah.
I just eat it.
A lot of times it is bad.
And it was recently. I got a
Yes.
smoothie and there was grapes in it. Not my favorite.
Interesting.
Why do they even have those there?
I don't know. It's not exactly. They
Yeah.
shouldn't have grapes
He
in
brought
the
grapes
smoothie.
from home.
It's fucking
Oh, whoops.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a green smoothie. I was like, what's your favorite green smoothie? And she gave me a smoothie with avocado, spinach, and grapes. And I was like, this
Ask a
is
potentially foolish question.
very sweet, please.
Is a prune just an old grape?
Say it again.
Is a prune just no? Prunes and grapes are different. Raisins and grapes are the same.
Prunes are plums, grapes are raisins.
Bam.
Apples
Ba-ba-ba-bam.
are oranges.
No.
Okay.
Easy.
You were
Sorry.
no, you were killing it for a second.
I was on one.
You were on
Incredibly wrong. I would say so wrong they have a phrase that uses that exact language to
No
say
way.
how much something's not what it is.
Yeah, and it's
Fuck.
an apple a day keeps the orange away.
Yeah, get away from me, orange.
They do
I
say
hate this
that.
orange.
Orange, you glad I went to the doctor?
Obviously, you guys are on the show to answer people's questions and
Absolutely.
calls. What makes you perfect on the show today to give people advice about their situations and conundrums?
I have had the perfect set of life experiences, which I may go into as we're answering the questions, that have set me up to provide flawless and perfect answers, correct answers, objective answers. I'm like Doctor Strange. I've seen into every universe, and I know which one. I know which answer to take, which path to choose to find the life that you want for yourself.
I love
Thanos is
that
just
for you.
punching you. You're saying this. I've actually seen all, and he's just hitting you with his
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
glove or whatever. I haven't done that movie.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. Do you want to
As
give
long
a
as you
taste?
don't ask me about how much I've spent on Magic the Gathering cards this week.
How much do you spend on Magic the Gathering?
Oh,
You just said don't
it's
do
bad.
that.
Sorry, but I am a sort of I like to be a little naughty.
It's
a gotcha.
It's
Yeah.
like I made a meme to send to my friend to explain my situation, and it was the couple that's going, I consent, and then is it there's someone you forgot to ask, and it's my CPA. My accountant is the one I forgot to ask.
I
No, I
see.
spent several $100s.
wow.
Several $100s.
Hey man, you got to use that money somehow.
And the reason it's perfect.
The toys are nice. What can I say? Me and my
listen.
Rari.
This is not a defense. It's simply an explanation.
yeah.
I found out recently that a lot of my childhood possessions, not my Shonen Jump collection, which we talked about in the pre-show, but
Don't worry.
Don't worry,
that is
guys.
safe, thankfully. most of the stuff got defaulted on in a storage unit and auctioned away.
You lost a storage war.
I lost a storage war that I didn't even know I was in.
There were a lot of casualties in the storage war.
The storage war, like my Nintendo DS, my DS Lite, my Pokemon games with all my save data on them.
Oh,
my
terrible.
binders of very rare from when I was in middle school Magic the Gathering and Pokemon cards. It was rough.
But what you got to remember is, imagine the joy that whoever bought that and then immediately assessed that binder of cards to be worthless, dropped it by accident, bent all the cards probably.
Right, they drop it in a thing of mud.
Tried to put the Pokemon Blue cartridge inside a CD player.
Got
It's
way
like
too
that.
sticky.
It's like that tome that you need that gym to open in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I got
It's exactly
with a big face.
the
And
necro.
and it's
Thay.
the necro Thay, and it
Loser.
it like only Asterion can open it. Basically, is what I'm getting at.
Oh,
So
dude.
hopefully he got to my cards, and there is an Asterion Magic the Gathering card that I did get this week.
We are just a few minutes in the episode. You've mentioned Magic the Gathering and Asterion as well.
Yeah, I'm also really into. I'm like, let me be nerdy. Oh, I also love basketball. Boom. I contain multitudes. I know what you thought. You were like, this guy's a freaking nerd.
Are you playing basketball on the reg, or you just like to
I am
watch
playing
basketball?
I'm watching and playing.
Who's a big loser now?
yeah.
You've activated my trap card. Boom, Yu-Gi-Oh!
No
reference.
way.
Oh
Yeah.
no, he's a nerd again.
I recently played pickleball with some friends, and I was like, okay, actually, organized sports, getting back into the game.
You
I
just
really
proved
enjoyed
that you are 30.
No, by the way, fully
Pickleball.
30.
Anyone?
I
Yeah.
love, and by the way, it was one of the best days I've had recently. Out in the shining sun, hitting a
Fun.
ball with a plaque.
Yeah, pickleball is.
I don't think you played pickleball.
Yeah, hitting a ball.
Were there
is-
other people?
Yeah, with a plaque. I was hitting a pickle with my
pledging a flag.
YouTube my YouTube plaque.
Oh no.
No, pickleball is fun and low impact tennis a little bit.
Yeah.
I also have played pickleball and I've got the paddles. So if you ever want to ball it up, pickle style.
Jarvis, I would love to pickleball.
Yeah.
Our management did, I think for just like a summer celebration, sent us
Pickleball?
Pickleball paddles.
company themed pickleball paddles, and I'm yet to release it from the sheath. I'm keeping
Oh,
it,
yeah.
Pristine for the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how you play.
I
can
wear
slice
a
it.
giant pickleball paddle on my back like Cloud Strife.
That's
Yes.
sick.
Yeah.
And
Fuck yeah.
lest you say we're nerds for referencing that, Cloud's one of the coolest guys ever.
Yeah,
okay?
Cloud's
Very
been
cool.
awesome since we were kids.
Yeah.
Well, guys, the phones are ringing off the goddamn hook.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
we've
sorry,
got
you're right.
to get to the callers, okay? That's
Hello.
right. Are you going to call into the show? On the show?
Hi, it's me again.
Wait,
Mr.
wait.
President.
No way, the president.
Not the one you're thinking of.
That's awesome.
Oh, the president of
It's Bush.
No, it's Joe Biden.
Oh,
Who are you? You're thinking of?
also not the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
not my president, pal. I'll tell you that much.
That's Millie Bobby Brown. Well, before we get into the calls, if you like the show, then you can obviously rate and subscribe it on whatever fucking platform you want, so you don't miss a single goddamn episode, and I'll be in your inbox like, hi. And also, if you love the show and you can't get enough, well, guess what? Now you can get enough.
Okay.
By joining the Patreon and getting the ad-free extended version of every single episode, including this one.
Oh, we had some great combos.
We had some real waxing convos.
It really peaked. We've gone pretty steadily downhill.
It
since the
sort of
main
got
intro.
stale as soon as the theme song began.
Yeah.
And if you want to witness how juicy it was before, then get in there and get as well bonus episodes every Friday where I call back people from the show and I get their updates
Oh, that's
on
awesome.
their life situations.
I'm
It's good.
already in.
I just
I
did
was
one
on-
this morning.
We haven't even heard a single question yet, and I
right.
already want to subscribe to hear the update.
That's what I like to hear.
Do we get to hear the question the questions we're doing today, or do we have to subscribe to the Patreon to do that?
That's actually, I'm going to make you guys pay before you leave.
Insane.
Oh, that makes sense.
To be on the
that
show.
explains the iron
Each?
bars
That
on the
ex-
door.
yeah, I locked
yeah.
the door and it is actually a fingerprint lock.
Yeah, it's you can only unlock it with your chip, your card chip. Apple
My-
Pay only. Yeah,
Apple Pay only.
We just take your card.
We have got to get into the calls here. Eggs and toast, coffee and cream. These are iconic duos, but what about the perfect duo when it comes to growing your business? That's gonna be you and Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap,
or a candle that smells like money? Shopify helps you sell everywhere, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. As an entrepreneur, I'm obviously a business mogul, making sure that I have the business capabilities, business-wise, to take my business to the next level. I think I said business too many times. So when it comes to my payroll or my accounting, I make sure I use the most trusted names in business. And for Shopify, that's going to be the one for selling stuff. It scales with you when you're selling one candle that smells like money to when you're selling a truckload of candles that smell like money to every man, woman, and child on the planet. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/perfectperson, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/perfectperson now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/perfectperson. If you're selling things, you're going to want to check out Shopify. What's that in the sky? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Rocket Money. Let me tell you about Rocket Money. The first time I went on there and I used Rocket Money, I saved the cost of Rocket Money for a few monthos. Because guess what? Daddy had a little bit of subscriptions that he forgot about because they were on a weird card that only charged every once in a while that I forgot about. And Rocket Money identified all of the subscriptions that I forgot I was paying for and said, by the way, babe, you want me to cancel these? And I said, "Yer." And Rocket Money went ahead and canceled them for me, saving me cash and time and making me more cash and time. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of my expenses. It sends me a little email that's like, "Hey, by the way, Miles, you just spent $1,000 more than you spent last month around this time." And I find that's helpful information for me to know. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is submit a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/perfectperson. That's rocketmoney.com/perfectperson. rocketmoney.com/perfectperson.
Miles, I have a conundrum. Basically, my brother is dating, and has been for a while, a distant-ish cousin of ours. And it's a strange situation because as wild as it sounds, I really don't mind it all too much. As wild as it sounds, I really don't mind it all too much, which I know how that sounds, I'm sure, on my part as well.
Why tell us that part?
Yeah, don't include your first one.
Really, my question is, how do I proceed when it comes to the rest of my family? Because I don't know if they know. So I need help. I need to process this.
We're going to need some more details here on what it's like to date your own cousin.
Why is it even her problem?
Well, I think the ish was doing a lot of weight on that. Was it close-ish, distant-ish cousin?
Yeah, that's really...
Yeah,
because either, I would say first cousin or it's a distant cousin. If you're saying distant-ish, does that mean cousin but you didn't grow up together?
Like, yeah, he's
cousin from Ohio.
He's a first cousin. Yeah, first cousin, but he lives far away. It's a long-distance relationship.
And he's so sexy.
I know. How do you fall into that, too? Like, you must have met because you're cousins.
At family reunion, you're like, damn.
You're like,
my family's kind of fine.
That guy's
working through
pretty
Ancestry.
hot. Yeah.
Ancestry.com. Like,
Hello, you called Perfect Person, and I'm here to call you back because your brother is dating your cousin.
I cannot believe this is happening. I desperately need to leave.
You need to leave.
They found out.
Yes, I need to leave my house.
Oh, I see.
Right, because no one can hear. By the way, hello, I'm Jarvis. I'm a guest here today.
Yeah, this is Jarvis Johnson and Jordan Adika, and they're here to help figure out the situation with your brother.
hello, nice to meet you.
Okay, we got in the car. Okay, we are ready to go.
All right.
We're in the car.
Perfect.
We're in the car. On the move.
We're in the car.
We're in a white Ford Bronco.
She's fucking go on the news. So why don't you tell us what's going on?
Here's how it's going. So, okay, my husband's overhearing all of this, by the way.
What up?
But
What's up, brother?
basically, my uncle, who is also like a half uncle, married, his wife at the time. I guess I don't know where they at now.
Married his wife. Okay.
Married his wife at the time.
Perfect.
She had children from a previous marriage, and then over time, my uncle adopted those kids legally.
Okay.
Cool. Chad move.
Damn.
Yeah.
I dig that.
So-
Bring the family together.
Epic.
Beautiful thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Bad lad.
So
King.
flash forward a couple years.
Like Lost season 5.
Flash forward a couple years. She's in a situation where she needs to move from her household at the time. They're in the same state, so
Wait, who needs to move?
my adopted cousin.
Your adopted cousin needs to move from her home.
And so my brother says, hey, come live with me because they're in the same state.
So there's no
Yes.
blood relation to the cousin.
Gotcha.
As I'm sure that this
Literally
guy
at
is
all.
saying to his friends every day.
Yeah, there's no blood
It's
between
fine.
If a train is leaving the suburbs of Chicago at 2:41 p.m. and it's heading to my cousin,
The Ford Bronco has left the
Incest
highway,
is
yeah.
fine if it's technical.
Yeah. It's very logistics.
It's logistic. Yeah, okay.
Got it. So then she moves in with your brother, and it was just because it was like, hey cousin, I need a place to live.
Oh God, it's
cousin, I'm stuck in the laundry. Hey, step bro.
Can't believe this is happening. Yeah. Yes.
this is like a meet. This is like a meet cute.
Fast forward another couple. I truthfully have no idea how long. But flash forward a couple more years. And my previously fiance, now husband, and I are visiting. My brother drops on us that they're dating while we're in the car.
Damn,
And I was like, oh, okay.
That's your cousin, right?
I was rather quiet for a good couple minutes.
Did he know it was a weird thing to drop? Was he like, by the way, I know this is going to be crazy, but I am dating our cousin.
Guess who got laid?
I think I think he was. I think he was just like, hey, just so you know, one of those things. So
Oh, okay,
yeah,
gosh, of course.
it's still. I think regardless of how much, like forewarning you can get, I don't think anybody's necessarily prepared for that.
Yeah,
sort of
no one's
event.
prepared
You know what I
for
mean?
that.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
yeah.
We've all been there.
I mean, Jordan, but my question for you is also, did you guys grow up as cousins, or was this like, were the adopted kids and that happened? Did that happen when you were sort of like teenagers or adults? When did that happen from your brother's perspective?
I was probably like preteen age, so we definitely didn't I didn't grow up with her. I can only truly recall like one instance where we like went out to SeaWorld as a family, and then already problematic.
One is enough.
And then fast forward this. So I still struggle though, because sometimes if I'm not thinking about it in that context, I still refer to her as my cousin in my head.
Yeah.
And to other people, I'd probably be like, yeah, my cousin. But that's where
Yeah, that's tough. When did you, after the first conversation with your brother, were you like, but it's our cousin, right? Or like, did you have any sort of back and forth being like, but
I
this is kind
truthfully
of
can't remember. I don't know if
Okay.
I blacked out.
Are you sure it happened at all? Was this a dream?
It could be all a dream.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember truthfully. It was they've been together for a good couple years now.
Wow. okay.
Whoa.
And the family doesn't know.
Here's the crazy thing.
Oh yeah, no, please let us know the crazy thing, because so far it's been pretty
Bit
normal.
vanilla.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
normal vanilla stuff.
Been there, done that. What may sound crazy on my end to most, I can imagine, is that honestly, I'm kind of here for it in a weird way, because my brother's walked through a lot in his life. He's a veteran.
Oh,
And
wow.
he,
So many layers.
There's so many layers.
There's always something new.
Sorry. We're trying to listen. There's so many layers to this story, and your brother is a very sympathetic character now. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, we interrupted you. What were you saying?
Yes. So he's a veteran, struggled with PTSD when he came back home. And she was very kind of pivotal. I feel like she's been pretty pivotal in his kind of transition back to that. Because it was a really rough couple of years the first time. And the reason why he was even in that state is to kind of help him get the resourcing and get out of like where we were.
Right. Sure.
Was he was back from the service, but for a couple of years before they started dating and maybe getting his recovery going?
Yeah.
Or they, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Well, that's great. I mean,
But I would say
that's beautiful.
being there in that state and then being together with her, honestly, has kind of been the in my opinion, the biggest game changer of him kind of coming back to himself and his personality and all that.
Right. So what I'm hearing is, this is Jarvis, by the way. What I'm hearing is this relationship is perfect in every way except for one technicality, and I have a solution.
Yeah, pretty much.
We have to burn the adoption papers.
That's right. Yeah.
If it weren't for their selfish dad.
That's the crazy part. Like, they technically currently share the same last name still. Yeah.
Interesting.
The story is like an onion.
Yeah.
An onion that was given to you by your cousin that you banged.
Yeah. That
But I mean, that does not bode well that they have the same last name.
Doesn't.
But also, it actually is a time saver.
It's a time saver, dude.
Kind of
Could take some
convenient.
paperwork down the road. Yeah,
Okay. Well, maybe it's convenient to have sex with your cousin. But
Say no more. Oh, thank God. That actually
maybe
saves
that's
me a lot of guilt.
Title of the episode.
there we go.
It's us.
No, I'm all the time thinking of the title of the episode. Okay, well, so what do you need help? Because you actually seems to be happy for your brother that he's gonna seemingly marry your cousin.
And while we were all initially off board about your position, I do think that upon unraveling some of the layers of this onion, I have become more sympathetic to your perspective.
Because your brother is a hero, he can date his cousin.
Yes.
Okay?
And frankly, thank his cousin for their service.
That's correct. Because it sounds like your brother was like, did an amazing thing. And
Was in
then
dire straits.
In dire straits, was helped to rehabilitated by your cousin, who then he dated.
That's what family's for.
You know what I mean? That's what family's for.
Absolutely correct.
I never thought it would come out pro cousin.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm so rarely pro incest.
this is one of those times. This may be one of those times.
Miles, you got me.
You got me. You really set this up. You found the technically perfect way to get us to say, you know what? Maybe incest is okay.
And it's a story only including extremely virtuous people adopting these children in the first place.
The other thing is my cousin is Mother Teresa. And she's actually, fed and saved millions.
The perfect scenario. I mean, it sounds like
I can't believe this is happening.
it sounds like your brother's happy. Your family doesn't know, though, is what you said?
I truthfully have absolutely no idea what anybody knows.
Blame the
I
podcast.
know that me and my husband know, and that's I think my mom knows, but my father, I honestly have no idea. And my father's the one who that's his side of the family.
Right.
I was going to say, it's really a pet peeve for him.
Yeah.
Incest.
He doesn't love that.
Just to get the perspective of someone who is also close to the situation by being close to you, what is your husband's perspective on this situation?
Good point.
Well, okay, I'll ask.
You're like, my cousin, my husband's my
husband,
cousin.
We met in Nam.
The question that I quote need advice for is, what do I do if and when my family finds out? Because I think ultimately they'll ask me if I knew, and I'm gonna feel inclined to say yes. I
think there are ways to not reveal how much information you know without lying.
Yeah, right.
Like, you could be like, I heard tell, but I wasn't.
Fables
Through the
pond the
grapevine.
wind.
Yeah.
I
Legends.
The bards sing of it in the taverns across Beirut.
I had but an inkling. But perhaps I was not fully privy to the situation in its entirety.
Yeah.
I knew he was a cousin fucker. but I didn't know at all.
I knew he was a friggin' pimp.
Yeah.
But
I knew he messed with cousins, but I didn't know it was her.
yeah. But because there are details to this that you don't know, like some of the time, how long things were going on. So I say don't learn that, so that there's a little bit of plausible deniability.
So it's not
Stay
like
blissfully ignorant.
Weird question to ask ever.
That's a good point. Yeah, it wasn't like the cousin arrived and he was like, "I simply must have that cousin." But
Fetch me my kin.
fetch me.
I simply must have that cousin is, I think, never a unique sentence, never been uttered before.
And should not be again.
I mean, I think you support your brother. Also, I feel like if anyone's like, "Well, you didn't tell me," you can keep a secret for your brother. Like that's kind of like close family. If your extended family's mad.
In the scenarios in which I've thought about how I am to respond, because who doesn't think about how they're supposed to respond if someone gets asked if their brother's messing with their cousin? But in the scenarios of which I thought about it, I really just feel like I'm ultimately just going to default to it's none of my business to tell.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah,
like it was never my business to tell in the first place.
And
Even though I was
fair.
almost explicitly asked, "Is he dating anybody?"
By the way, do you like the cousin for your brother? Do you think
like
they're a
the
good
show?
match? Do you think the cousin's a good match for your brother?
She's honestly a sweetheart. Like I honestly, I'm very thankful for her. And I mean, I liked her from the beginning.
But not like that.
Yeah,
But not like
yeah, is this coming from a place of jealousy?
She's an absolute sweetheart. Like whatever I am to call her in my life, I will gladly call her.
yeah.
Jumping forward to the end game here,
Yeah.
I'm imagining a wedding.
Oh, I'm not.
You don't think they'll?
I'm not.
You don't think they'll do
They're
it?
not very traditional people.
Oh, they're not very traditional. I think that
I'll
much is
say
obvious.
that.
No,
yeah, that is really
I'd say
clear.
incest at one point in time was very traditional. It's
Right.
a worrying degree.
Hyper traditional. Jordan is British. He knows a lot about that.
Yeah. As I said, look, incest, not bad. This feels like when someone just extremely charismatic convinces you of something through pure vibes.
Yeah, right.
Where I might get off this call and be like, did I just say incest is fine?
Well, okay. If they're not planning
related.
on getting, they're not related. First of all, important.
No, literally zero
Important
biological
distinction.
You know.
They're not blood related.
And they also didn't hang out a lot as cousins as kids.
If they met once,
They flirted at SeaWorld.
Yeah, they floated at SeaWorld. Oh.
Lock me
Which
up.
actually, he wasn't even there at the time. So it was me that.
okay. But then
Yeah,
also,
it was
if-
more of a like,
We're really
we were aware and there was a few overall the year's family functions, but he again was kind of, after the service, all that fun stuff.
Right.
So
Oh,
not really
yeah,
even
right.
able to be involved in those things at that point.
Right.
And if they're not traditional and there's not going to be a big family gathering, I don't know if y'all have family reunions or anything.
I'd be rather surprised. I would be rather surprised.
Yeah.
And so it kind of is a little bit if a little technical incest falls in a forest and no one can hear it, then why,
Does it even make a sin?
Does it even make a sin?
Schrodinger's
If
cousin
a bear
Schrodinger's
messes with their cousin, and nobody hears it, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
If a bear has full consensual sex with a tree in the woods, is it cool?
I guess also I'm curious. What I'm curious about for their relationship is, do they have a sense of humor about it? Are they like, all right, cousin, like, you know what I mean? Like, because to me,
I think I would prefer if they
I don't think
didn't.
that at this point
Miles,
they
stop
refer to
smiling.
each other as cousins. I'm almost positive that's not the case.
You should. Could you think you can have a little bit of fun with it?
you'd be like, hey, remember when we went to SeaWorld or whatever?
Because if there wasn't the technical familial relationship and this were like
If there
two
was
family
zero adoption
friends,
papers,
right?
we wouldn't even.
And that's why I'm saying
Right.
we have to get rid of the adoption papers.
That's right.
The deed.
We have to find the adoption papers
And burn them.
eradicate them.
Yeah.
And I mean, all things considered, like they're both adults. Do the adoption papers exist?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what happens? What happens to those? What happens to the adoption after you become 18 legally?
Yeah.
You become their
Oh, I
parent.
don't know.
I don't
That's
know.
right. It flips.
I mean,
Tell them when to go.
I'm just the sister in this process.
yeah, no, because I don't know this, and I was adopted. I was
what are the rules?
like when I became 18, I was like under legal guardianship, and then when I became an adult, I was like free as a bird to
that's
date any
interesting.
of my
Right.
Cousins.
cousins.
Yeah, that's a good
Fine.
point. As long as you're not blood related.
As long as you're not blood related, it doesn't count.
You were free to
Yeah.
find a cousin.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is all fine.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think that your brother's a hero, and he can date his cousin if he wants to.
That's why he's a hero.
Exactly. In your book,
He's my hero. Yeah.
this dude's my hero. But academia. But I do think, if the family brings this up, it's actually fine. Just be like, it wasn't my business to tell. It's fine.
Well, I think the best
You're not gonna
part of
believe
this, like, I think that a lot of our concern has really just been understanding the nuances of the story. Your core question, right? Exactly. But your original conundrum was about what do you do?
Yeah.
And I think you don't have anything to worry about.
No, you're
Very
good.
sweet of you to take on the ownership.
I do recommend you and your husband do a DNA test. Maybe a little family tree analysis.
Make sure.
Yeah.
He's 100% that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're from entirely two separate sides of the world. So
Yeah, but, you know,
You never know.
You never know. There was lots of, Pangea.
Yeah, Pangea used to be one.
It used to be one, and people
be
walked
one.
all around.
And
We were all the
around.
same race.
Yeah. Hey,
The human race.
Yeah, black.
But
yeah, we have an ancestry for our dog. We got to do that too.
oh, make sure your dog's not your cousin. Well,
Yeah.
we would be having a different conversation.
Or I guess you adopted them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Who
that
adopted who?
Yeah, you don't need to worry about this, but just support your brother. It sounds like he's been through a lot, and I give him full permission to date his cousin.
Emotional support cousin.
Yeah. I will report emotional support cousin. That's great.
Thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate it, and you have the most wonderful day.
Yeah, I wish you the best.
Thanks for
Wait,
chatting with us.
can I get a fake name?
Oh, absolutely. Fake name, Jordan.
Scramble.
Scramble. Thank you for calling in.
Scramble.
And you have the best
Also,
day.
I don't know if you're into screenwriting or writing at all, but you should definitely turn this into a story.
It's
No
so
one will see
funny.
the ending coming.
It's
no one will see the ending coming.
Yeah.
No, not at all. All right. Bye, Scramble.
Bye,
Thank
Scramble.
you guys so much.
Bye. Holy shit.
That was wild.
We just endorsed incest.
How do I... Oh, there it is.
Shit.
That was
Jesus
the one
Christ.
thing
I came
I
on this
said I
and
wasn't
not
going to
to
do. I like him looking at my to-do list for today. Don't condone incest on Perfect Person
Don't
Podcast.
follow it up with a fart sound effect.
I know.
It does feel like one of those thought puzzles where like we're like, oh, okay, I guess technically if you're a time traveler and then you go back, like Back to the Future rules.
Right. It's like they're not related, but they were adopted, but they did go to SeaWorld, but he's a veteran.
Benjamin Button is old when he's
And then it's like, but why does being a veteran undo any of this? Well, I mean,
he's a hero.
He's a
We're
hero.
all-
and he has red sneakers. You're like, I don't know what in this setup is I'm supposed to be using.
yeah.
One of them always tells the truth.
That's right.
I think I'm fine to tell this story.
Let's go.
Let's
Jordan.
find out. I'm not going to change my mind. I want the content. There is a friend of mine that a good friend of mine when I was maybe like 9 or 10. His brother had peak cool brother energy. Right?
Oh, yeah.
He was like, "Whoa, this guy can DJ," which just meant he owned like some vinyls. I'm like, "Whoa, badass pimp moment." And then he started It's a pretty small town. Little country bumpkin, Jordan. But this guy, I was his name, let's call him Scramble. He started dating another like cool girl. The two of them, he's 15, 16, somewhere. They're both 15, 16.
Is it ethical for two cool people to date?
No.
Yeah, I mean, but
it
not
always has to be
procreate.
one loser.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, it's like incest rules, you know?
They're
Just don't
basically
get-
in the family of cool.
yeah, keep it in the family of style. They dated for about a year, and then their parents started dating each other.
I've always wondered about this.
And then they got married.
oh, whoa.
The parents got
The
married.
parents got
So then
married.
they became siblings.
And they became siblings, and a little while later did break up. I think it was a contributing factor.
I've always wondered about this. This happened to another like kid in my hometown, and I was like,
We're from the same place.
Yeah, it's the same story. But I was like, because then your partner, your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, or whatever, then becomes your sibling.
Lucky.
Crazy.
Oh, so like you get to live together and go bang all the time. That's so cool.
Siblings and dating.
But like, what do you do? Do you know what they did? Were they just like, I guess this is fine? Like,
I mean, I think also being, I guess they were like 18-ish when the parents got married, but they were still both living at home, I believe. That I think the moving into the same house component.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
kind
goodness.
of a game
Yeah.
changer.
Too much also at 18.
Also, like,
Yeah.
you have your room, you know?
yeah,
It's
like,
coming
here's all my
over.
stuff. Like,
Hey, Joe, you ate my Cheerios. And that's like,
that's weird energy. Yeah,
I
that's
wish
terrible.
I could do it. No, I liked it how it was.
So, just a tiny little sliver of it.
Yeah.
Well, we got to listen to this voicemail.
Hey, Miles. I just need some advice on my absolutely dysfunctional friend group. It all involves a camping trip last summer where people had to be physically restrained and locked in cars, and there's a mystery kiss involved, and lots of secrets that we have not uncovered yet. So, call me back, please. I do need help.
Had to be physically restrained.
Lots of secrets?
Did she say mystery kiss?
I know. Which honestly,
There's so much intrigue in
there's
this
so
one
much
call.
box checking for me.
I would not have guessed that the third thing after different styles of imprisonment would surprise me the most.
Well,
what is a mystery kiss?
Physically restrained, locked in cars, and mystery kiss.
Is that like the back of the head?
Hello, you called perfect person, and I'm here to call you back because you've got a dysfunctional friend group. And I'm obviously here with Jarvis Johnson and Jordan Adika.
Hello.
Oh my God, hello.
Hello. Thank
Hello.
you so much for leaving your message. We have a lot of questions about your friend group, but we're going to need to give you a fake
Yeah, of
name
course.
first. Jarvis, can I get a fake name?
Bing bong.
Bing Bong.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Bing Bong, why don't you let us know what is literally good?
Okay, so I mean, I'm in university now, and this started in middle school. So there's a history.
It's a flashback like Lost Season 1.
Can I get names for the two main girls who are involved here?
Okay, well, you're Bing Bong, and I feel like they have to be Mary Kate and Ashley.
That's perfect. Okay.
Okay.
So Mary Kate and Ashley have been kind of off and on in love with each other since middle school.
Okay.
But they've never been in love with each other at the same time.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, really hate to see that.
So last summer, because we're all finally grown-up adults, we decided to go camping. And there has been a history of just some arguments and things like that over the past year between Mary Kate and Ashley. Mary Kate was getting in relationships in university and Ashley wasn't, and Ashley was getting jealous because that was when she was in love with Mary Kate,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. They weren't talking to each other
Been there.
because why would they? Exactly.
Just miss each other.
Yeah. No, just to give us a little bit of context, is Mary Kate like the sassy one and Ashley's sort of the
Yeah, who's
They're
the
actually
nerd?
they're both very sweet and normal people.
Okay.
But
they just
what do you
rub-
mean to get context? That's not what just completely unrelated.
To get context,
get
which one's the
context.
jock and which one's the nerd?
Feet sizes, go.
which one's the hot one and which one's the sort of woman to be? Okay, got it. They're both sweet and normal. Continue.
Go on.
Bing
Yes,
bong.
they're both very sweet, very normal. Well, yeah. So we decided to go camping. So it's Mary Kate, me, Ashley, and then the rest of our friend group, which is 1, 2, 3 other people.
Okay.
Harry Potter, Ron, and
Hermione.
Sauron.
Hermione.
Okay, perfect. We have all women and one non-binary.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, yeah. What lore? What sort of IP would you like us to attach these to?
Well, half of them are really into the Lord of the Rings. So
Harry it
maybe we
is.
could do that
All
as
right.
fake names.
Hey, Miles from the future. Figured I'd provide a little context on what's about to happen. We gave 3 random Lord of the Rings names, but unfortunately one of the Lord of the Rings characters' names is a little too close to one of the friends' names, so we have to come up with new names, and here we go, back into the episode.
Okay. Frodo, Bilbo, and Gandalf.
So Gandalf is unfortunate. David the White.
Really simple. Okay. So we all go camping and it's just one night. And for context, our campsite is surrounded by other families.
Okay.
And pretty much all of the families around us have children with them. And quiet hours start at 10 p.m. at this campsite.
Right. So
it's
this is one of
around
those like
8.
lots where everybody's tinted up and you've got like some
Yes.
sort of
Always set it up.
space around you. You've got a little
Yes,
bit of your own
exactly.
personal space. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And so we decided to make dinner around 8 or so. And we had tried hiking earlier in the day. It didn't really go well. There was some tension. There was some animosity. And
From
so
Mary and Pippin?
Yes. There was kind of tension between everybody, actually. No one really agreed on what to do or where to go or how to hike.
What do you guys like about each other?
Yeah, how'd you meet also?
A shared mission to destroy the ring?
Okay, we do like each other. It sounds like we don't, but we do.
Oh.
I swear, up and down we do.
Touche.
Okay.
All right, great. Love it.
Okay.
I guess based on everything you've said, I wouldn't do that, but
So, Gandalf and I decide to start making dinner, literally just pasta. We just have to boil water, super simple. Mary Kate decides that she's not going to eat. But keep in mind, we've been together the whole day because we had to drive down to the campsite and everything. And she hasn't eaten anything.
Yeah.
And we were
you
like,
guys just went on a
well,
hike.
you're about...
Yeah.
You're a seltzer in, you should get some food in you.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I'm fine. I'm really not hungry. So we're like, okay, we'll leave a little left over for you.
Okay.
She never ends up eating it. She does, in fact, end up getting more drinks and an edible from our friend Pippin.
okay, so she's eating.
Yeah, she's eating an edible. That's great. A little.
Yeah. And so Mary Kate, starts talking to Ashley. And Ashley has also had a little bit of a history of just misusing drinking.
Sure.
And Ashley and Mary Kate decide that they have to talk to each other, and this is very important for whatever reason. And none of us really know what's going on. So they kind of go back. So our car is parked like 20 feet away from the campsite. And so they go next to the car, so we can't really hear them.
Right.
But they're just kind of quiet, and the rest of us are all just talking until we hear not a scream, but more of a shriek. And we were like, oh. And Mary Kate kind of goes, oh my God, Ashley needs help. And we were like, oh, someone just died. So we run over there. Ashley is kind of on the ground having a panic attack.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're kind of like, what just happened? But Mary Kate isn't really in a situation to be able to talk to us because she's also having a panic attack.
So Mary Kate is the one who hasn't been eating, just ate the edible, and had a bunch of seltzers.
Exactly. Yes.
Ashley ate some of the pasta.
Yep. She ate some of the pasta.
She ate some of the pasta. She's drinking. They're both a little bit.
The lead pipe in the dining area.
Yeah, no, I want a detective board with strings.
You know when you get a little like tipsy, your inhibitions go down.
Yeah, right.
There's definitely some unspoken thing that they're like, now we can cross over this bridge, probably due to the substances.
Yeah.
They get some privacy, and then what I'm imagining is things get a little too real, things get a little too extreme.
Right. Yeah.
And then a rare double panic attack happens.
It's like
double panic attack.
It's like one baking soda and vinegar triggering another one.
Right. Chain reaction.
The Rube Goldbergs that panic in the other person. Yeah. They got a contact guy.
Someone else heard the shriek and had a panic attack.
Yeah, exactly. A family next door.
No, that's what we were scared of because it was almost quiet hours by this point. It was like 8 p.m. And so we were to them because we were like, these two people having a panic attack should probably not be next to each other. So we had set up a hammock. So we put Ashley in the hammock. God bless Ashley. She's in therapy, so she has her coping skills.
Good for
So
Ashley.
she was like, I'm going to listen to my audiobook and I'm going to sit here and read the music and calm down in nature. And
audiobook in a hammock in nature sounds so nice.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Mary Kate starts freaking out. We were like, you need to eat some of the pasta and you need to stop drinking.
Yeah.
You need to drink water. There's people around us. We are technically in public. You can't be doing this.
Right.
And then she started screaming at us saying she could handle herself and that she, doesn't need us to be babying her.
Between Mary Kate and Ashley, who had feelings for who?
So here's where it gets really interesting. Well, it's going to get more interesting, actually.
Jesus Christ.
Gandalf and I, the day after this, we debrief at Popeyes.
I love that Gandalf. Gandalf is very wise.
That is another sentence that is never
Gandalf and I debrief at Popeyes. Incredible sentence. Yeah, and I love that you chose the wise friend
Yeah,
to
that
be
was
Gandalf.
impeccable.
Oh, of
Every
course.
time I'm like, Gandalf would do that. Shout out Gandalf.
Oh, yeah.
So Gandalf is debriefing at Popeyes, and Gandalf goes, "Did you hear what Mary Kate said?"
Wait a
And I
second.
was like,
so
what?
I'm sorry to back up on this story.
Yeah, of course.
Where did Mary Kate end the night?
Should I start at the debrief or should I start with the rest of the night?
I don't want to. You were weaving this tale in the perfect way, and
That's right.
we're loving it. So don't. I was asking just in case we skipped over something.
Yeah.
You will get to it when you get to
Yeah,
it. So
weave it,
please
weave it, baby.
continue weaving.
We're dipping into the wiki to read lore. When maybe
yeah.
it should be just,
Again,
Can weave.
this is you should do this professionally.
Yeah, we just clicked on the wiki for Popeyes debrief. And we're like, no, go back to the main story.
Right.
Okay, so Gandalf goes, "Did you hear what Mary Kate said?" Actually, right when they were freaking out. And Gandalf goes, "Well, Mary Kate said, I didn't mean to kiss her," to Ashley.
Whoa. Okay.
And I didn't hear this, so I was immediately like, "Okay, are you sure that that's what she said?" And Gandalf was like, "I swear up and down on my life on, I don't know, the Hobbits."
Yeah, we trust Gandalf.
Like,
if I'm wrong, kill me with a Balrog.
That's
Yeah,
right.
no, I trust
Exactly.
Gandalf on
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my life, really.
And so Gandalf was like, "Absolutely, she said that." And I was like, "Okay, interesting, weird, putting it in our back pocket." So going back to the rest of the night, Mary Kate still freaking out. Ashley has been in the hammock this whole time. She is doing lovely. We check on her every 10 minutes, bringing her water, stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Good for Ashley.
Yeah.
I mean, also shout out to therapy, shout out to coping strategies,
Hell yeah.
Knowing the
Exactly.
solution.
and shout out to a supportive friend group. I
Yeah,
think
you guys did the right thing.
Y'all are
Audiobook in the
doing
hammock.
all the best. You're doing everything great, and obviously,
we were
Obviously,
trying
you really like
so
each
very
other.
hard.
Yeah.
you're trying really hard, and you do like each other, and now we believe you.
We know it.
Yeah, you will
Yes,
for a
we do.
fact.
Yes, we do. I
Win
swear
this
we do. So Mary Kate, we put her in the tent forcibly for just about 5 minutes or so, and she calms down enough to come out. And we're like, "Okay, let's
It's a
eat."
tent. Like,
And
it's
she's
not like a holding cell.
It's a fucking tent. They're like, get in there.
Yeah, we were like, "You have to be eating."
It's like made of polyester. It's not
She could
gonna
get out,
yeah, she
probably.
could probably get out.
It's
of
not
the
uncommon
Scream.
to accidentally get out of a tent.
No raincoat over it, too.
Yeah, like when you want a dog to go to sleep in its crate.
Exactly. Go. Crate.
So at this point, the edible has kicked in because it's been about 35, 40 minutes.
No.
God.
Yeah.
No, level 2 of the boss is unlocked. A new health meter.
And you phase.
No. New boss is.
She also refuses to give up her Smirnoff. So she's continuing to drink her little Smirnoff ice with the edible that's kicked in.
Ice.
We're trying to grab it from her. It's not working. She, for context, we always say that she reminds us of a meerkat because she's very limble.
Nimble?
Agile.
Nimble and limber. Is that a
Is limble the right
portmanteau?
word?
Nimble.
No, nimble and also limber, perhaps.
Maybe it's both. And maybe it's
Oh.
more.
and maybe it's both, and it's like a portmanteau of those two words.
Limber,
Yeah.
yup.
Might be
There you
Elven.
go.
She's like a second-degree black belt, but you wouldn't expect it to really look at her.
You don't want this person to be drunk and high,
But stuck
freaking
in a
out.
tent.
Yeah.
It
by
also
the way.
makes sense why
Exactly.
you couldn't get the Smirnoff out of her hand.
Yeah.
She has
It's
death
not-
stripes.
no.
You know?
The reason we haven't heard about a couple of the friends is we lost them along the way.
That's right.
Also, why Ashley was on the ground and not Mary Kate.
Judo
Oh my
threw
gosh.
it.
Okay. That's also a possibility.
I mean, she's very limble.
Ashley's an ex softball player, so less limble. Mary Kate decides that she has to go on a walk in nature to calm down. At this point, it's 9 p.m. It's fully dark outside.
Jumping down a tree. Yeah.
Yeah, and she is still holding this goddamn Smirnoff.
Legend.
And
Yeah,
she decides
legend
to walk
status.
on the road because there's like a tar road connecting all of the campsites. And so she's walking past campsites, very clearly underage, holding an open Smirnoff,
Oh no.
like chugging it as she's walking past these families.
I am going to
And
say she's
so-
been holding it for so long, I do doubt that she's chugging it.
yeah, right. She's just using it as a prop.
Yeah, this is a gigantic Smirnoff Ice. It's in a thermos. It's in a Camelback.
Yeah.
I'm hiking.
Eating it, slipping it out of that little urethra.
Yeah.
A little slice. And
You like you ice somebody, like you go on one knee and give them a backpack. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Okay, so she's going on a walk down this road at night, very dangerous. She also doesn't have her phone, so she's walking in the dark with no flashlight.
yeah.
And so Gandalf and I are like, oh my God. She's like made her way down the road. So we're kind of like half sprinting after her. And she does not stop. If anything, she speeds up.
This is horrifying, by the way.
By the way, this is a black belt in karate, high on an edible, drunk off her ass, running away from you.
It's like the little girl in Barry.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
This is like Super Mario's got a star. He's invincible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you gotta just let him go.
Yeah, like, because I mean, this, I can only imagine how scary this is for you. She doesn't have a phone. She's untraceable.
Yeah. No, I was also to keep in mind every single person is not sober. I'm on medication that makes me an extreme lightweight, so I was like as good as very drunk.
Gotcha.
And so I was like kind of running after her. I was scared that I was going to trip and die. And we eventually get her. She starts yelling at us, and we're like, okay, you have to be quiet. You're literally right next to another campsite where there are like 2 children just staring at you right now. And you're holding an open alcohol container. Like, they will absolutely call the park rangers. Like, you need to come back.
The kids
And
know
she's
to
like-
do that.
They can't do anything.
Yeah. So I think that eventually got through to her, and she's like, okay, fine. So she storms off back to the campsite. Gandalf and I are still trailing after her because she doesn't want to walk with us. So she's like
She's being
walking
like,
like awkwardly like 20 feet ahead of us.
Yeah.
I just
And
realized
so she eventually gets back.
I literally am picturing her in a gate.
No,
I forgot that wasn't real.
And I'm picturing Gandalf as
next
Gandalf.
to you are like a normal person next to Gandalf. walking through the
Yeah,
campsite.
that's exactly what you should be imagining.
I was also imagining Mary-Kate looking at one of the kids and like force choking them. Yeah.
They're gonna call the park ranger if you do that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. They're kids.
Yeah, so she eventually goes back to the campsite. She starts freaking out the moment she re-enters the campsite, and she's like, oh my God, where's Ashley? And we were like, you don't need to worry about Ashley right now. We have Ashley covered.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I really fucked up with Ashley. I need to talk to Ashley. And we were like, Ashley should not talk to you right now. You know, let's just get some water. Let's maybe call it a night. She's like, she's getting louder and louder. It's now like 9:20 p.m. Quiet hours start at 10. We're getting anxious. She just keeps screaming, I need to talk to Ashley. Where's Ashley?
Bitch,
Oh
eat
my
the
God, I fucked
pasta.
up.
Great. I'm hungry now.
Yeah. Eat the pasta. Just have some pasta. Go to sleep.
Step 1.
I need to talk to Ash.
And Ashley has been
She's powering
They hit the gravel is starting to lift off the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, talk to us. Shit.
Ashley has also been in the hammock this entire time. So if Mary Kate just
Queen.
turned around, she would see her.
Where is she? Yeah. Okay, hold on. Not really. I know it's dark, but she has a black belt and she doesn't have the sense of perception.
Yeah.
She's had the awareness.
That's-
at the very
Able
least.
to notice her.
Yeah,
from
you know what?
across.
We're all confused. We're all
Yeah.
confused about it.
Yeah, it's the edible probably. It
Yeah.
slows
Yeah.
down her reflexes.
It's the best way to
So-
defeat a karate master.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pippin is like, okay, you know what, Mary Kate, we're getting in this car and you are going to tell me everything that's wrong and you're going to drink this water and I'm not letting you out of the car until you drink this water.
You have so many prisons. You have so many little dungeons in this
Yeah.
story.
They're all instanced. You just go in the car.
Get in the tent.
Oh shit! They defeated the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll never get out of
So-
the car.
Yeah.
Child lock
That was-
on.
yeah. So Pippin locks herself and Mary Kate into the back of this car. And it's quiet for a bit and we're like, okay, you know, everything's good. Then we start hearing banging on the side of the car door. And we were like, oh my God. And then we start hearing distant screaming
Oh,
from
it's
inside
that
the
Breaking
car.
Bad scene.
Mhm.
Where it's like, he's like in the car.
We were like, oh my God, someone's actually dying. So then we start walking towards the car. Pippin throws open the door. She storms out. She goes, I'm done. Someone else handle this. And I was like, oh, okay.
Valid.
Let me enter
this
the
sounds
situation.
exhausting.
Yeah. Pippin's sort of done with the situation.
Mhm.
Pippin's tired.
Pippin got leftover pizza from I don't know where actually.
What happened to the pasta?
Pippin wasn't hungry for pasta.
How Italian was this camping trip? Hey, you gotta calm down.
Eating the pizza.
Then all of a sudden, Gandalf is eating a cannoli, getting all the cream in his beard.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this is Gandalf's car. So I'm like, oh my God, I don't want Mary Kate to be throwing up in Gandalf's
What kind
car.
of car is it, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a Honda Pilot.
Okay, because
I was always wondering what kind of
Car Gandalf.
card. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Hell yeah.
And so
Legroom.
I get in the car. I lock the door. Mary Kate is freaking out. I look at her and I'm like, hey, you have to trust me right now. You need to stop. There are people around us. It's almost 10 p.m.
Yeah.
We're going to get the park rangers called on us. We have alcohol all around us. We have weed all around us. We can't be doing this right now. You need to
I
stop.
forgot that this was an underage drinking situation on top of this.
Yeah, right. On top of that, it raises the stakes.
Not
for
if they're
sure.
in Italy.
Exactly. It's terrifying.
That's right.
Mary Kate is crying, right? She's fully crying. She's not really saying words, but she's like grabbing me, stuff like that. I start realizing, oh my God, I'm about to throw up. I can't be throwing up in Gandalf's car. So I turn to Mary Kate. I shush her. I go, 1 second, please. I open the door. I lean out. I throw up. Onto the ground
Our
outside
play would
of
have
the
been
car.
to throw up on Mary Kate.
Yeah.
If you don't calm down, I'm gonna. And she's like, blah 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 blah.
Oh, my black belt. Fuck. You ruined it.
No, I eventually convinced her to get out of the car and we go down. I don't know what it is. I think maybe just like seeing where her and Ashley fought was like bringing back memories. So she starts screaming about Ashley again.
Oh.
She starts trying to run to where Ashley was in the hammock, and I was like, absolutely not. So I'm trying to like hold her hand and just stop her.
Oh.
And again, deceptively strong. She's trying to like break free. At this point, she's trying to run into the woods. And we were like, absolutely not. So I now have to hold her from behind in sort of a bear hug straitjacket situation.
Oh, this
And
is
once
like when
again-
they were Raditz.
Yeah.
It's just like Raditz.
Gandalf starts charging a special beam cannon at Dragon Ball.
Takes a couple episodes.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and so I'm just kind of holding her and restraining her until she's able to calm down. And I'm kind of like scream yelling in her ear. Not scream yelling, whisper yelling in her ear. And being
I
like,
think that's
you need
talking.
to stop. You know?
I think the one right there.
And so,
down. I'll kill you.
and basically, and God bless all the years of just like trashy TV I watched, because she was trying to like dislodge me from holding her, and I was like locking down her elbows. I was like in it. I was like, I could work for the FBI right
This
now.
sounds like you were watching self-defense courses.
You mean UFC?
Oh, absolutely.
The
Hey,
trash
I was
TV.
watching,
Yeah.
White Collar. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I was
White
watching
collar. A lawyer
Yeah.
show. No, that's, sorry, I'm thinking of Suits.
yeah. Different, which have white
Yeah.
collars oftentimes.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
mix
point.
that up
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have in Game of Thrones and I'm lost.
So I have to hold her down for a good like 5 minutes until she finally calms down, and that's kind of the end of that night.
Okay.
I was gonna say
Um,
kudos
and
for
then
holding down
we-
a black belt.
You pin down
Yeah.
a black belt,
That's
and then
badass.
the night if we fade out.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
think
end
you
of the
get
night.
some sort of honorary belt for that.
This does
Yeah.
have the structure of a dream.
It really does.
Like,
Yeah.
there's too many locations that could have possibly happened. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
in my brain.
Yeah,
Too many
the middle
locations,
of
too
the
many
woods.
characters.
I like the idea of the black belt going, my training didn't involve grappling. No, I wasn't able to, I don't know how to
man,
defend
like-
myself.
Smirnoff.
Ashley, meanwhile, is knee deep into a song of Ice and Fire. He's listening to an audio book for the past 3 hours.
Burning through the first
Yeah.
Witcher book with nary a care in the world.
Yeah.
I know.
Dangerous karate master
Eye mask on, noise canceling earphones
She's
in.
doing so. She had the most restful night.
a peasant boy fanning her
Oh,
with
yeah.
a giant leaf.
Yeah.
By the way, you called in at,
Yeah.
you were like, I have drama in my friend group. You just have a problem with Mary Kate, I think.
Yeah, I think you have
Okay,
too much
Okay, well-
karate.
Yeah.
that's yeah.
So Mary
Yeah.
Kate feels to be, out of all of this, the problem actor. Although the final detail that we need before we can diagnose you, and I appreciate you taking us on this journey, is
Yeah, of course.
who was the mystery kiss with?
Mary Kate and Ashley refuse to talk about that night. They just say that like they both messed up, they both drank a little too much, and that's that. And
Yeah.
we've tried to kind of coax them into speaking about it.
I don't think Ashley did anything
I know
wrong.
Ashley is doing the most extreme olive branch of all time by saying we were both out of pocket. Ashley's in the hammock 99% of the time.
God, the attitude I had
No, yeah.
once I wrapped up the last
She
wish.
ended up,
Ashley had a panic attack and went to sleep. She didn't do anything wrong.
Because of Mary Kate. The first thing was because of it. Well, Ashley's grand mistake was having a conversation.
Agreeing to a private conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
well, so that, so you don't know who the mystery kiss was. You just heard that it happened and it made everyone upset. I mean, to me, this is, and I think this happens around your age where like, cause you're in college, yes?
Yeah.
So it's like around this is the time when people start getting way too drunk and being crazy.
Right.
And like it's hard sometimes to also give notes to those people because it's kind of just a part of the culture. You know what I mean?
They're learning to kind of handle themselves.
Yes,
and then there's also this like, I'm an adult.
I'm fine.
I don't need to be. I don't need
so
my
much
friends
of
to
that.
take care of me. I'm independent. I've got a control of everything. You're the problem.
You're touching the stove to see if you get burned, but no one mentioned you shouldn't. I do think another symptom of, at least amongst the friends I had up to college and around that age, is that you know each other so well, or at least have spent so much time together, and people fall in and out of love, etc.
Yeah, right.
That scenarios like this become so layered and lore focused. There's so much context you can't even really articulate it.
Yeah.
Like if somebody gets like it was like a cliche where I went to college, which would just be someone crying outside of the club, and you try and ask them what's going on. And you cannot access the details because it's like how people are really bad at teaching you a board game. And they start with like, so in Catan you have to gather enough hay. You know, how do I get hay? What do you mean? Or like to kick off Magic the Gathering, you got to make sure you get the blimble on the 1/1.
Yeah, right. It's also like when people get that drunk, I remember a million cases where someone was too drunk and they didn't trust anyone and they didn't listen to anyone and it made it so much worse. Right. And I feel like to me, maybe something to say to those people, and I feel like I actually remember saying this or being a part of conversations, it's just like, hey, when you drink too much, it happens around this age, you just got to trust me that I'm going to help you through it. Unconditionally, just trust me that I'm trying to help and that like me helping you will make the situation better, not worse.
Also, I think Mary Kate needs to know for the future that this is a possibility for when they're drinking on an empty stomach, because not to get too real, but you want to make sure this doesn't develop into an issue.
Completely,
And
which can develop even quicker when you have bad experiences and then you try and medicate those bad experiences with more severe bad I can handle it and do it.
And luckily you seem to be good enough friends that you can say, hey, you know, keep an eye, like be aware of your behavior when you're drinking and for other people around you to be aware of that behavior so that they can tell you, because it may be a thing where, you know, some people end up having to really dial back their drinking because they can't get a handle on it. And you really don't, you better safe than sorry, right? Because there's already some behaviors there that could have gone in a very dangerous direction.
Yeah, it's like the reckless, like the self-destructive, like I'm running around screaming and I'm not trusting anyone and whatever. That's,
and I don't have my phone. I'm on the tar like
I'm in the dojo again.
Yeah, I'm running around.
my
like,
key.
God forbid she got lost. God forbid y'all weren't able to catch up to her in time. And then, you know, that defiance turns into, oh shit, it's fucking 10 p.m. I'm in the campsite in the woods. I don't know where anything is. All of these like tents look alike. Obviously there's more people around, but you hope that she doesn't deviate or run into a bad place.
You don't necessarily, you don't want her interacting with strangers.
There was actually remember a story that like, or I had a friend in college that had a lot of stuff going on, right? And like during college and after college, sometimes, you know, she would drink too much and just have kind of like a difficult time. And I found that after the first or second experience of being like, hey, I'm a safe person around this and I can kind of help you through that. She then like trusted me to be like, if she was going through it again, which like some people just go through, especially in college, there's so many emotions. There's a lot of partying, whatever.
For a lot of people, this thing never happens again.
Exactly.
And it's always also possible that this is just, they're genuinely not enjoying the experience, but they want to keep touching the stove because everyone else is touching the stove and they seem to be loving it. Whereas it sounds like pretty miserable.
Yeah, but like being a trusted person to Mary Kate will like, if you can teach her just like, hey, I will help you, whatever. I'll be soft with you. I'll try to work you through it, whatever. That will pay off as you go.
A perfect person, so to speak.
A perfect person, as it were. Bing bong. As we named you.
I just want to say kudos, by the way, for it maybe could be dangerous to be a little too forgiving or patient with this person, but it sounds like it is also admirable that you've been very considerate.
Yeah, right.
Look, it's at the end of the day, you are doing your friend a service, but it is not your responsibility.
Yeah, totally. Right.
And so I hope you don't feel any guilt about that. It seems that you're doing the best that you can, and all that you really can do is encourage your friend to get the resources and the community they need locally.
She's also very anti-therapy because she had a really bad experience with Derby
Yeah.
a few years ago, and so now she refuses to go back ever.
And that's like, I think that's also typical of people that maybe have stuff to work on because they're very into therapy.
Yeah,
they don't want to
exactly.
be a part of it. But also, I think that's something that you should, like, if you have a friend that Mary Kate trusts, then you can sort of be like, here's how I've supported this person. Because that happened to me too, where I was like, at a certain point, not where this friend was and had to just like tell other people, okay, here's what they're scared about. Like, here's how you can kind of help. This is really what they probably need, from my experience or whatever. And it's tough because like, like Jarvis said, it's not your responsibility. It's you being a kind friend and you should support your friends. But I wouldn't feel the burden of this because this is probably something that Mary Kate needs to work through.
Be kind to yourself. Because I think that what we've heard from this is that you've done so much already.
Yeah, right.
And you in coordinating all of this, and even like, I don't remember what your initial problem was.
We haven't really hung out all as a group since that campsite day. Because it's just been, someone's too busy or someone's working or something like that. So I'm worried, and Pippin and Gandalf are also worried about how everything is going to go down when, like, eventually we're going to have a night where we're, like, drinking or smoking or something, and they're going to be, drunk next to each other for the first time in, like, a year. So we're worried.
Maybe this is a little severe, and I also don't want to assume that you haven't already had some very candid conversations with them, but speaking only, projecting as someone who at that age and really for like a long time was very hesitant to say things super directly and acknowledge, maybe diagnose someone in the lightest sense with an issue, accuse them of having something that requires them. That I really the only solution I can see, the only productive one would be, hey, you made this trip really bad.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And we had a really difficult experience. The entire friend group is reaching a point of tension where we're scared that it could escalate in the future. Look at how much time and effort we've had to maintain this relationship. We love you. We do care about you and want you to be involved because you don't want them to bounce off of this feedback. But also, hey, you seem to have a horrible time drinking. I don't think you like doing this.
No, completely.
And I really don't want to just not stay in contact with you. I don't want that.
Yeah, I think that's also one of those things that is like she kind of needs to hear. And also, she may bounce off of that really hard, but she'll still hear it.
She'll still hear it.
That's sometimes with people that have issues with this stuff. If you give them the note, they may be like, well, fuck you, and everybody parties, and I'm fine. But they will have heard it, and it will ring in their head when they have issues again.
And maybe someone says it again, someone else.
Right.
Exactly, right.
And as for what to do the next time they're in the same room, a couple of options. One, team meeting ahead of time. Everybody kind of get on the same page where it's like, okay, we know that this is possible.
They're in the room, but you're huddled in the corner.
Also, I don't know if they have unhashed stuff, but like maybe if they need to talk, they should have a mediator, or they should not be kind of alone together. Or they shouldn't talk.
I gotta say, I don't know if they have to. Do they legally, all of you have to combine together in like one setup? Maybe you just have visitation,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But how's that sitting with you before we let you go?
That sounds absolutely perfect, I think.
That's what we love to hear. Thank you for calling in, Bing Bong. We hope your friends Gandalf, Mary Kate, Ashley, Frodo, and Pippin are having a wonderful evening. And you're the absolute best. You have a fantastic day.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Have a great day, all of you.
Yeah, have a wonderful
Bye.
one.
Bye. I feel like we watched a film.
It had everything.
Are the calls always this dense?
Is anybody ever just like...
Sometimes it depends on the episode.
How are we almost about to talk about someone's dog poop problem?
No, sometimes we took a call one time that was I banged my frenemy's dad. And that was a call where I was like, I can't believe a world where I almost didn't pick that call. In this one, I can't believe a world where we almost didn't take her call.
It does make
we went to Middle Earth and back.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think like, okay, well, if we did pick up the dog poop call and dig at it a little bit, is it immediately going to be like, so I live next to Tony Soprano?
He's a mob boss with his dog.
Right, he has a mob boss. And he says, I'm gonna do something to you if you talk to me again.
Hey, sorry about not being a considerate neighbor.
And he's not good with alcohol. And he's a black belt.
Well, boys, we have one final segment, and this segment we like to call Get Real. This is a segment where we force a genuine moment in an effort to learn more about each other and ourselves. And I'm obviously sitting here, Jarvis, Jordan. Now, you guys have a podcast called Sad Boys.
Yeah.
That's right.
How did that originate? And obviously your podcast is silly, funny, goofs, gaffes, etc.
But it does also force genuine moments, sincere moments.
Sometimes with people that you wouldn't necessarily expect to have a genuine moment with.
True.
Now, where does the title of Sad Boy exist for you right now in your sort of journey as a person? And how do you handle the downs that you have? Obviously, we also talked about like working in this industry as a creator, sometimes having to be the sort of captain of your own destiny because of the type of career you have, especially day-to-day, schedule-wise, whatever. How do you currently handle the downs?
Is this piano loop 20 minutes long?
I just want to say
About 2 minutes long, and then I hit it again.
Okay. Well,
because that's almost exactly the wrong length. You know, it's like,
Exactly the wrong length.
I can start it, or you can.
go.
So we started the podcast when we were two young buck tech workers with a lot of creative coworkers and the desire to do creative projects. And one thing about our relationship is like from the moment we met, there was like the ability to bounce between the very silly, goofy, gaffy stuff with like the emotional sincerity stuff. And just like being a guy, and I think both of us were dudes that were #raised by women. We felt more comfortable tapping into that, and that wasn't something that was as common around us. So we were like, oh, hey, like that's a fun thing to like base a show around. But then also, I think that the sad element, like it's meant to be like a juxtaposition of like, you know, sad, but then Boyz is with a Z, so it's kind of like meant to be this like...
I'm here with the boys, I'm here with my fellas. You know?
That's right, yeah, exactly.
Boyz, you know,
Boyz.
But I think for me, since starting the show, I've been like diagnosed with ADHD, with like anxiety, depression. I've like really, you know, I definitely identify with being sad a lot. And it's funny because sometimes people ask us, oh, but you guys seem so happy. And I'm like, well, that's during the time when we have to do the show, we can't like sulk.
No, definitely.
You know what I mean?
And sad, I think, is like, in addition to Boyz kind of being a little bit kind of vibrant, sad is also like a oversimplification.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because the sensation of sad, it's kind of fun to treat that like a catch-all.
Yeah.
a little
Right.
bit. And, you know, in reality, contain multitudes.
Yeah,
totally.
And so for me, I've been in therapy for like 7 years, and I've never had any like major, like I got into therapy on some like Gary V maximize my life shit, where I was like, how do I make myself more efficient? This was when I was Clark Kent and Superman.
Yes, right.
Doing my like YouTube in the mornings and like work in the like late morning. And I was like, oh, but I get sad sometimes. Maybe if I like go to therapy, I'll figure out how to like make that go away.
Yeah, right.
And
I'll
if
like
I
solve it.
follow the rules. If I do all the rules
if I do
for how
that
to
stuff.
And since that, I've learned that it's like a lifelong journey, and you develop strategies and you learn a lot about yourself. But for me, it's like I don't think I'll ever graduate from being sad. I know sometimes people talk about graduating from therapy. It's not something I personally relate to.
Oh, no, I don't relate to that at all.
Yeah. And I think that the things that have helped me, 1, therapy, 2, support system, 3, trusting myself. Sometimes I get really sad and I cancel therapy because I'm like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, right.
And then my therapist was like, respect.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I don't want to talk to you.
Honestly, that was something recently I figured is like, I know that for me, whenever things are going super well, here we go, kicking it.
This is
really
all
hard
three
to
of us
please.
unable to achieve anything.
Only we had a black belt.
Really good gift.
Yeah.
Something I noticed about myself is like whenever things are going really well, that's an anxious day. That's like a terrifying anxious day. And I had it yesterday, but I think I know myself enough to be like, okay, this announcement going out. Everything's going super well.
Right.
And I called my wife just to be like, hey, by the way, today's going to be crazy.
Right.
Me. I'm going to be weird. I'm feeling weird. And she was like, put headphones in, go for a walk. And I was like, you know what? That's exactly
Get in
what
a
I
hammock.
need to do. Get in the hammock. Yeah. Put it on.
Metaphorically.
But I think that to me, like understanding where it comes from and when the waves happen, just being like, oh, today's weird. Today's weird. That's what it is, has helped me a little bit. Because it is, graduating therapy. I'm like, I don't think that that'll ever happen for me. This is just sort of who I am and what I do.
I kind of feel like graduating. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to dictate anyone's journey as far as mental health development or acknowledgement goes, but it does feel like an idea that is rooted in what I consider to be a misnomer that mental health is a resolvable problem and not just like cardio.
Yes.
It's not like I have appendicitis, so then take out.
Cure it.
I'm graduating from the gym. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't. Going to the gym for a year is better than never going your whole life. But it will prohibit, I don't know, you won't feel as good as you used to, maybe.
Yeah,
now, if they develop a surgery that surgically removes the sad part of my brain, I am tempted.
Oh, if I could pay
cool.
for a surgery where they just remove my brain.
That'd be nice.
This morning, I was like getting coffee, coming over here, and I just had a pep in my step. I was like, I'm like already dreading when I don't feel this good. And I'm like, okay, let's not do that. Let's be in the moment. Let's enjoy it. Let's have a good time. I had a great time here today. Yeah. Jordan, though, Sad Boys, how does that,
how does that feel for you?
I mean, I'm going to be cautious about how I talk about it because it's one of those things where I get very emotional very quickly in a positive way, but like a little teary-eyed because I had like, I've talked about it on the show, but I won't bore you with it now, but a particularly challenging couple of years. I lost my visa at the beginning of 2020. I've been here for 5 years up until then, lost my visa, then was back in the UK. Family member got sick, became their full-time carer, was gone for like 2.5 years, finally came back, 8 hours ahead of all my friends, just like this kind of peak moment of isolation. And I don't like recontextualizing shitty stuff as growth moments. I'm just saying like, hey, it's all, part of God's plan or something. I do the shit stuff is shit.
Sometimes people have it shittier than others.
Yeah,
it's fact of life.
Right. No,
and in many ways, especially now, I have it a lot better than others. It is okay to acknowledge like ease in some places, but I do now have like I feel like an ego death that comes with feeling rock bottom a little bit.
Here's what the death of my dog taught me about B2B sales.
I started taking
1 out of 56.
That's right. Well, and you got through it, I guess.
And the reason I get emotional about it is that it was Jarvis. Like Jarvis literally saved my life, and I don't think now there's a lot of ego attached to how like the podcast, like what it exists for.
Yeah.
I think at one period of time it was because we started it, air quotes, in 2017, and it was just a thing we would do sporadically because it was a reason to hang out and do stuff together. We started really close. We met maybe like 3 months prior.
Yeah, it was very weird. It was like, want to start a podcast? Like we didn't know each other that well. It was also like a way to get to know each other. Also, you give me too much credit. You saved yourself. I'm just here cheering you on and supporting you in the ways that I can. But
I crushed it actually.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you actually nailed that.
You suck.
But yeah, like the initial version of the show was kind of us talking about our own life experiences through very like specific topics where it's like, what's your experience like with bullying? And this, because it was kind of us becoming friends and like learning about each other. And now, other than like the fact that we play the YouTube game and there is like, okay, we want to talk about pop culture, but like in my real life, I want to talk about the show with my friend anyway. We've also kind of covered it in terms of like those topics, and they all like we for a different project we're working on, we were looking at the first 20 some odd episodes of the show, where when it was very much like growing up online, bullying, like like racial identity, things like that, and all of those themes are kind of just like the seeds that still come out in the show today. Right. It's just like in a more
it's like I think the way we articulate it and the comfort we have doing it. It's noticeable that our energy is different, not just because we have obviously we have our 10,000 hours by a microphone at this point, so it feels different, but in the earlier episodes, there's certainly like a presentation mania to it.
Oh, it's so funny. I mean, I've
had a crazy day at work.
At this point, I'm sure you've done hundreds of hours of just recording, talking together. I feel the same way. I produced 1 billion podcasts, was on the TryPod for over 200 episodes. This show's about to hit 100. It's just as like, at a certain point, you stop posturing or pretending in a way, and then it is like you're saying, like you just become yourself.
I think that show, what the show is now, is a benchmark, not to frame all emotional stuff only through the show, but it is like it's like it's the benchmark that I measure how things are going otherwise. Like we do the show every week, we always do the show, that we don't miss we don't skip an episode entirely. I just don't miss. I crush every episode. Jarvis mid.
Basketball.
Jordan,
Pickleball.
Jordan Bog.
I think you know how to play pickleball, dude. Don't throw the ball.
You hit a basketball with a paddle.
That's right.
You are right.
And you hit a pickle.
Exactly right. You got to hit a pickle.
Pickle a basketball.
It's really, I love that it exists. And I think, similarly, I was diagnosed after we started Sad Boys, ADHD and bipolar too. And I think there is a forgiveness that you get to give yourself when you have an archive of your lowest, your medium, and your highest. Especially as far as like listening to an episode from a year ago.
Yeah.
If you do that, then you're not just looking at different headspace you're in. You're in a different apartment with a different lifestyle, different mindset. Maybe you got a pet. There's really tangible stuff that changes. And I mean, my favorite thing about having a psychiatrist is that he's like a diary for the lower points. And when I repeat myself a year after I already talked about something, he's like, you just said this bullshit, dude. You're dumb.
You used to talk about this like a little bit ago.
You're ugly.
One thing that's really cool about the forever journey of mental health is that even if you listen to those old episodes of Sad Boys, even if we're giving personal experiences or even good advice, let's say, it does not mean that we solved it or that we're applying that 100% of the time. So there's this thing I talk about with my therapist a lot, which is like trusting your own wisdom. And that is like a lot of the muscle for me these days that I'm working on, because there's things I've known for years about how to navigate certain situations for myself. But when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the woods and like Gandalf is running after you and you're like, I'm fight or flight. I
gotta do karate.
Do I take a left in the woods or do I try to force palm him or whatever?
Soul goes out of his body.
I lost the metaphor there. But when you're in the thick of it, like it's hard. It's very easy to forget all of those lessons. Forget your training. And so it's you have to practice so that those strategies come natural, so that when you go, oh, I'm feeling like this, I need to go to the hammock and I need to put on an audiobook.
You need to be the version, you need to be, what's the name? Blimbo? The caller we...
Bling bang. Bing bong.
Bing bong.
You need to be that kind of, make that offer of being the unconditional support friend for yourself, where you can feel the thing, and your mission should not be to stop feeling the thing that's distressing you, but what you can do is trust the sober version of yourself that a few days prior was doing just fine. And now if I met me, I would be like, can you chill out?
Trust is like me the wise. You know, it's like you got to trust the Gandalf in yourself.
My wife was like, go on a walk, like try to figure out the thing that you know is probably going to work to talk yourself out of the
and when your wife says go on a walk, you don't go on a walk.
What?
I know you're a freaking genius. I've never thought about that. It's like right. Go on a walk.
Remind me. Oh, that's right. I know
I'm having a panic attack. Someone says, take a deep breath. You don't go, I'm not going to forget how to breathe.
It's
like, no,
I'm the best at
Let me be present in this moment. Let me try to like listen to what's happening.
The emotions can be complicated, but that doesn't mean the solution is. Sometimes it's like not necessarily easy, but it is annoyingly simple how much a walk helps every single time.
We have recently, this is embarrassing for the both of us. We have recently started talking about the phrase "the friend meta," which is literally just us hanging out with our friends, and realizing how like beneficial that is for our like well-being.
That's like, honestly though, I have thought about that a bunch recently. Me and my friends, we went to play pickleball. We like hung out. We cold plunge and do improv in the backyard. Sometimes it's the fucking best. It's like the friend meta is huge. Just knowing that you have a community and like
taking advantage of huge privilege. Like those are hard things to build, especially at a point of like intimacy where everyone knows everyone, or at least there's you can offhand say, hey, tomorrow do people want to do this? Like 1 p.m. That's a really difficult kind of network to build, especially in LA. And I think I don't know, it took us a little while to kind of click into like you, me, and Eddie do something at least once a week now. Like it's like a conscious
That's
thing we try and do.
Right.
Because it's never
it's
happened and it's felt worse.
hung out at my place and watched Planet of the Apes. And we were like, this is crazy.
No, it's great.
This is actually so sick. People should do this all the time.
Well, so this house that I rent the studio at, we have this kind of cohort. I'm in the studio working on my own stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like family. It feels like home, and it definitely like softens the edges. If I'm having a bad day, to just
that's like aspirational for me.
Yeah, it's really
nice.
nice.
That's like something that like that's like my next quest. You know, like is other than get a cool freaking studio, dude. This is nice.
Thank you.
Can I just say,
for saying that
this show is awesome.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
this is fun.
Oh my God, guys, you've been amazing guests.
Yeah.
That's the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for having us, man.
Obviously, go check out Sad Boys. Everybody listening, check out Jarvis, check out Jordan's stuff. Thank you for doing the show.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
having us.
And thank you for the callers. That was very fun chatting.
Oh,
about
yeah.
it.
Shout out
to
to Scramble and Bing Bong.
Huge shout out.
Shout out
I'm
to
gonna
Bing Bong for
subscribe
keeping
to
it straight. Which friend was called which nickname?
She was amazing. Picked up all the names and assigned them, and then kept it consistent.
I don't know when you do the Patreon, but if there's an opportunity for us to come back and listen to those two stories, I would personally be happy to.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
fucking fantastic. Well, everybody, if you're out there and you're thinking about calling in, just remember that no matter who you are or where you are, perfection is only a call away.
That was a Headgum podcast.